Okay, so first things first, we already did the unboxing of this board, and in the unboxing we also went over the specs. So if you missed that, go check out that video. So the fit and finish of this board is very well polished. From the motor cables that are bolted on to the truck risers, all the way to the nice power button that's on the ESC. The illumination blue looks very nice and the button feels very premium. Speaking of the ESC, all you have to do is turn on the remote and then push the board and then it will turn on. Now speaking of the remote, I read somewhere online that someone bought a newer MEEPO Hurricane remote for their old MEEPO Hurricane. Now the old MEEPO Hurricane, a lot of customers are saying the ESC is jittery. I didn't feel that way. However, I do think it's not that smooth. This Bamboo Hurricane is very smooth, so it might be very possible that this does take away that jerky feeling that some original Hurricane owners are complaining about. I can't promise that that's a result, but I do promise that this board is smoother than the original Hurricane. I just love how the motor cables are actually bolted on to the actual risers of the trucks so they won't get loose and wiggle around. The enclosure has a bunch of splits in it, so it actually is easier to flex the board, and the Hurricane logo is dead in the center and it looks really nice. A free bash guard is always great, especially with traditional Kingpin trucks because the motors sit a little lower. The font of the Hurricane logo dead at the center is really nice. They also did that on the top of their truck plates as well, and it looks way better than the last one. I also like how MEEPO also put these tags on the side of the batteries that tells you a little bit about the batteries itself. I also like the black tag that shows you which board number you are. It's kind of like the lycaon barrel, except they used a white sticker and used an actual pen to fill in the date and a batch number and scribbled with their terrible handwriting. I'll never comprehend why they did that. Not only is it a cheap way to put on a batch number, but all they had to do was remove it and just do it again. It's like the 20th anniversary Volkswagen GTI used to have. All of them have a significant number that's on the radio that signifies which batch number they are. So just like the boards, these cars have only a certain amount that were ever made. So having an anniversary number or some kind of batch number that signifies the importance of this specialty item is a cool thing. When we spend this much amount of money, kind of cool to know where or how many were actually made when you own one yourself. Now, as some of you may know, 2-in-1 boards are our specialty. Now, when it comes to a Bamboo Flex Deck, that's a 2-in-1 that has massive performance. That just gets us excited. It has good drop down, it has good concave, and the flex is perfect. Now, not only is this flex more comfortable, but when you dig in your heels during a carve, it has that good snap back feeling, and you could also de-weight a lot easier when you're riding a flex deck board. This deck just absorbs everything. It's not too flexy, it's not stiff at all, so it absorbs every kind of terrain you throw at it. As for the stock 7-inch all-terrain wheels, just like any other 7-inch, they ride over anything. They grip very well. They're not an ugly looking wheel either. They also were not unbalanced at all. No vibrations, no shakes at all from the tires. So I decided to try on the new Metro Board 153mm tires. You guys know I like a smaller all-terrain tire with a thinner tire wall for better grip. Let's see how they do. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. A little more. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go. On go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, here we go. Hill test on the 6-inch Metroboard X 60T MEEPO Hurricane Bamboo belt drive. Huge hill. I know you can't really see it on camera, but it is a very big and steep hill. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go. Absolutely flying up it. No problem. Okay, brake test. 1, 2, 3. As for top speed, out of the box it comes with the 7-inch 60T setup, and I got 29 miles per hour on the stock setup. As for the 6-inch Metroboard wheels, I was still using the 60T pulley and I did 27 miles per hour. Now, if you want higher speeds, I highly recommend using their 55T or buying Evolve's 47T kit. Frankly, I think this setup should have been 55T. As for range, with the stock 7-inch setup, it was 34 degrees out and I'm a 150-pound rider. I got 22 miles with the stock 7-inch setup. This was in mode 4 the entire time. And again, keep in mind, if it was a lot warmer, I'm sure I'd get 3 to 4 more miles. As for the trucks, these are the traditional kingpin trucks, not the double kingpins. These are by far the stiffest trucks I've ever ridden. I started out in the rear with 93As, and then in the front I did 90As. That combination usually wakes up the board pretty well. It usually gives it a little bit more carve, but still keeps a lot of stability. But with this setup, I couldn't even do a wide circle. It's tough. Even doing regular riding at the park, I had to lean my 1 foot over with my trick that I put on the Onboard Bamboo Pro video. So even doing that at the park helped it out, but still, I normally wouldn't have to do this on any boards. This is me carving on the stock setup. As you can see, it's nothing special. I'm not struggling to carve, but I normally carve way more aggressive than this. It just doesn't feel at home. However, I have a solution. So I replaced the rear with one orangatang bushing. It's the orange one, which is the softest one. And up front, I put one Riptide 84 crank barrel up front, and the board's behavior was completely different. I felt at home again. I also put the 105 dad bod wheels on. Now let's see how she rides. Acceleration test. 1, 2, 3. So here's the hill test. The same hill we always use, except for we're starting right in the middle of it. 1 bar gone. Check it out. 1, 2, 3. So you know how I'm always preaching about how I want more riders to try street wheels? Well, this is the setup to do it. There is no excuses here. This deck is so comfortable that any street wheels you're going to use with this setup, it's still going to be fine. Is it as comfortable as pneumatics? Of course not. But this deck is so comfortable that you won't really feel much fatigue in your feet. You're still going to feel some vibrations? Sure, of course. But you're gonna feel vibrations with skating. It is what it is. Even when you're on pneumatics and you're riding over 20, 25, 30 miles, your feet are gonna feel it no matter what. So when you go up the street wheels, you're gonna have almost the same sensation, but with street wheels, you can utilize more power, more range, and more speed. And on top of all that, there are so many different wheel options out there. Different colors, different sizes, and durometers. Constructive criticism. You remember a while back when the first batch had quick short guide on the boxes? Well, this is kind of the same thing, except for it says bamboo cereals instead of series. Now, I can't be mad at MEEPO. They're killing it right now, so I'm just going to let this go. What I wish they can improve is the weight of the board. The board is really heavy, 34.2 pounds. The container it's leaning on is 0.6. So in a perfect world, I would love it to be under 30 pounds. This is small but quite annoying. The charging port is very hard to pop open. I just wish the cover would stick out a little bit more so I get my fingernail underneath there to pop it open. Last small thing I don't like about the board. The edges of the deck is pretty narrow and sharp, so when you're carrying over 34 pounds in one hand, it actually hurts your hand quite a bit. It's really uncomfortable, especially if you're commuting with the board. I just wish the edges of the deck were more rounded off. Final thoughts. Now, I only know one other flex deck 2-in-1 board that will compete with this setup, and that is the Evolve Haitian Bamboo. They also have a board builder setting on their website that you can choose many different options, just like the MEEPO Hurricane has. However, the MEEPO Hurricane Bamboo is $1,200 when the Evolve Haitian Bamboo is $1,800. Now, the Evolve Haitian Bamboo does have more features. Best believe if the Hurricane had embedded lights, it had onboard cell diagnostic system, it would be more expensive, that's for sure. But the MEEPO does have higher top speed, so it all depends on what you value as a buyer. If you only have a $1,200 budget, this is by far the best 2-in-1 board you can get. I truly believe that. We all have our personal preferences, and that's what's so great about the e-skate community. If you guys want to see the gear drive with the tubeless wheels, comment below. Thank you for watching, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.